Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome back to the Fierce Factor podcast. It's Kaylee here, and you are tuning in to episode number 263. And listen, thanks for being here. Moreover, thanks for being a part of this epic movement. I mean, it's such a revolutionary time in the world, particularly for female entrepreneurs. We are at the forefront of a massive societal evolution that is disrupting cultural standards as we know it. And I don't think most of us realize that. During our alt experience a few weeks ago, I asked the audience, a room that was vibrating with 50 multi-million-dollar earning female business owners, how many of you have had a grandmother who built a $1 million business? And guess how many raised their hands? Yep, you guessed it, zero. Pretty fascinating, huh? Let's just stop and think about this. As female founders, we are doing something that has virtually never been done. We are creating a massive movement as trailblazers. This is a huge responsibility. When I went to business school, there wasn't one iota of conversation in that curriculum about what it takes to be a woman in business. Everything we learned was about how to structure, measure, manage, and market that business. But truth be told, entrepreneurship is so much more than business tactics. Every aspect of business growth has one through line: the leadership of its founder, her risk tolerance, her emotional readiness, her self-worth, her energy, her thought patterns. In fact, I regularly watch well-educated, resourceful people struggle at business ownership because they decide to buy into the lie that they just aren't good at business. No one is innately good at building a business. They try, fail, and learn. Just like no one is a great medical provider until they provide medical care. Try, fail, learn. You aren't a swimmer until you actually jump in the water. I don't care how many swimming books you read or videos you watch. Business is a game of mental battles. And if you choose to strengthen your tolerance for risk, failure, and embarrassment, you will find yourself playing the game and winning. And this is the truth for managing adversity, because business growth is never linear. It's a steady ascension through a sequence of J curves, up, down, up, down, up, down. Most of us understand this logically, but few of us are mentally prepared for the imminent plateaus and regressions. And as our economy is contracting, I am quite understandably sensing a lot of fear driving hesitancy and stagnation. We are entering the vortex of a shifting economy, diminishing consumer confidence, warp speed technological innovation, and radical market maturation in aesthetics and wellness. This confluence of market shifts means we can expect the next 1 to 2 years to look and feel very different than our post-pandemic boomerang that allowed business owners to sit back and grow with a lukewarm business strategy. These landscape shifts need to be guiding your business decisions now. Remember, in a contracting economy, money doesn't go away. It just exchanges hands. It favors businesses with strong foundations, clear brand positioning, and lucrative cash reserves. So leader, now is the time to be on your toes and to make proactive moves, strategic investments, and high-level decisions, not just quote unquote waiting it out for the market to adjust. It is going to be crucial for you to think strategically about your business model, your vision for growth, and your ability to adapt to a swiftly changing climate to capitalize on this economy versus being blindsided by it. So you're probably experiencing some of these shifts in your own business right now. A trust recession where consumers are slower to make decisions and much more discerning about how and with who they invest with right now. But it's important to recognize that money is still exchanging hands. It's just being spent wisely. So I wanted to take some time today to talk with you about the state of the union in aesthetics and wellness, how consumer buying behavior has shifted in our current economy, and what strategies you can implement in your business now to adapt to the realities of today to set yourself up for a bright future. So first of all, I'm not going to come in here and tell you that you should be scared and stashing cash under your mattress. I recently had a training session with our Academy members, and we talked through a discussion where I debunked quite a few misleading statements that have been circulating around out there in the ether. The first one being that quote unquote aesthetics is down. So let's look at the data. First of all, let's talk about the market growth decline. So according to ASAPs, the number of minimally invasive procedures, so Botox, fillers, et cetera, grew by only 4% in 2023 compared to a 15% growth rate in 2021. So listen to what we're talking about here. A slower growth rate compared to the post-pandemic boom of 2021. It's like saying my 16-year-old who just went through a massive growth spurt isn't growing quite as quickly. But he's still about 4 inches taller than he was last year, and he's still growing, right? So we aren't talking about a flat market. We need to be careful when we say aesthetics is down. There's a lot of dynamics that contribute to this. Number 2, consumer spending decrease. So a survey by AmSpa revealed that 30% of respondents reported reducing their spending on aesthetic treatments due to economic uncertainty and rising costs of living. So let's go back to my principled law of unequal distribution, or the 80-20 rule. The top 20% of consumers will always drive 80% of revenue. So high net worth, cash positive, recession resistant spenders will always carry the economy. So this is no surprise here. If your model is to serve everyone with a pulse, this will inevitably be your experience. Number 3, competition increase. The number of med spas has surged with a 33% increase since 2019, intensifying competition. No surprise here. I talked about this in 2020. We've all been prepared for this. And then the fourth piece of data is about staffing challenges. So according to the Aesthetic Society, 50% of med spa owners reported difficulty hiring qualified staff, leading to reduced service availability and diminished customer experience. Ladies, this is why when you invest in leadership, you win at the people game. And when you win at the people game, you win. Hey, leader. I know the journey to building your greatest potential can feel overwhelming. You're setting big goals, navigating resistance, and trying to stay true to who you are in the process. That's exactly why I created the Fierce Factor Society. This isn't just another membership, it's a launch pad where ambitious women like us come together to grow, lead, and thrive. It's a space to take those big dreams and make them real step by step with the support and tools you need to succeed. If you've ever felt like you were made for more but didn't know exactly which step to take next, the Society is your space to access the tools, strategies, and support to unlock your next level of leadership. Let's do this together. Visit klcconsultants.com/Fierce Factor Society to learn more. Can't wait to see you there. So here's the deal. When you break down what's happening, I want to talk about the 3 key strategies I'm focusing on personally, and I advise any entrepreneur in any industry to prioritize to strengthen their foundation, to capitalize on this economic exchange of hands, and set their business up to catapult in the next season. Number 1 is strategic advisory and coaching. Listen, I don't care how much experience you have, leading a team in business through market volatility is hard. It's gut-wrenching. It is drop to your knees scary sometimes. Do not do this alone. This is not a time to wing it or to ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist, to clam up and wait it out. It's time to get the support of a seasoned business advisor who has a proven track record of helping businesses at your level come through economic fluctuations and thrive. I can't tell you how many women came to me after the last contraction cycle who were going to quote unquote save money and not invest in the highest level coaching possible that wholeheartedly regretted that decision. Now is the time to double down on your leadership so you can show up fully prepared to lead your team and to make the strategic pivots and difficult decisions that you will need to make in order to grow right now. And number 2 is a lean and optimized team. Every person on your team needs to have a clear path to producing profit for your company, meaning those nice to have roles in your company that aren't directly tied to client service, sales, and retention should be seriously evaluated and adjusted or eliminated. For me, it's about redefining who my A players are and doubling down on training, skill polishing, and friction removal for them in their role. I am showing them a runway for growth and allocating resources to support the investment into them to attract even stronger team members. Remember, when other businesses aren't properly resourced to hang on to their high growth employees, you will be there with open arms to recruit them onto your team, a team of other profit driving A players. And then finally, number 3 is to invest in diversified income streams to magnetize and retain your most valuable buyers. Now, I caution not to mistake this advice for adding more complexity to your business model. So what I'm saying is we're not trying to start a new business or try something else because we didn't get something to work. What I'm talking about here is fine-tuning and leveling up your messaging, your brand visibility, and your problem-solving ability for your most recession-resistant consumers. What I'm talking about here is your most valuable buyer or most valuable patient. So this looks like eliminating direct marketing around products and services and improving your storytelling skills to build trust and longer-term retention with these clients, to really understand their problems, why they are coming to you, and to communicate early how you are the best positioned to help them solve their problem. So why is storytelling so important? Well, this weekend I was in Sedona, Arizona on vacation, and with my family, after dinner one night, we went through like a little walk through the gift shops. And of course, we're looking for stuff to take home that would remind us of our experience there. So this particular stretch of shops had the coolest handmade trinkets, jewelry and stones and instruments. And Cooper, my 16-year-old, wanted a candle for his room. So we walked into a candle shop and there was a woman sitting at the counter. And she said, "Welcome, feel free to have a look around." There were candles of all different colors, sizes, fragrances, really the whole gamut. So he toiled around for a few minutes, picked a candle he liked, and then flipped it over and looked at the sticker on the bottom, and it was $29.99. And he said, "Nah, not really worth it." And then we just walked out. About 3 doors down, there was another candle shop, very similar layout. So we stepped inside, and this time the woman that was at the front of that shop walked the boys, welcomed us all, and then said, "Hey, why don't you come to the back? I want to show you how these candles are made." So she walked them to the back and she showed, this is how we make the candles. She shared her story of how her grandmother had started making these candles in her little cottage. And now they had opened shop here to make an income that afforded her the ability to farm and support the growing family on their property. She showed pictures of the family, and we were all taken back by her impressive story. So Cooper picked out a candle and he looked at the price, flips it over, $39.99. He gave me a look and I replied with a nod. We went, bought the candle that was priced 30% more at this shop. Same city, same street, same thing. It was a powerful reminder that people aren't actually shopping for the things they ask for. Not even skincare, Botox, or Sculptra. They're investing in an experience and to connect emotionally. And every transaction in human history is built on an exchange of trust. This is why storytelling is so impactful. But when we start to feel desperate, when we start to react to the circumstances around us, rather than go deep to sharpen our skills and communicating our value, we get scared and we start sort of acting crazy and making impulsive decisions like discounting, overpaying, and undervaluing ourselves. So now is the time to sharpen the pencil, differentiate yourself, tell your story, magnetize high-paying clients, and lock them in for life. While the rest of the world is sitting out on the sidelines worrying about trade wars, you will be ready to capitalize on opportunity right in front of you. When we talk about diversified income streams, think about what's already right there under your nose. How can you better serve your existing most valuable customers, and how can you polish up your communication and your storytelling in a way that attracts them into the bigger picture of what you're building and what you're all about? Remember that every great innovation or breakthrough was born out of adversity. So embrace this opportunity to get stronger and more capable. Remember why you are doing what you do and the impact you are making, because you were meant for this. Empower yourself with an ecosystem of support to strategically guide and uplift you through this J-curve. You can wait this out and let someone else dictate your future, or you can make this your defining moment. The choice is yours. And if you're ready for your next level up, you can join us in our spring cohort of Confidence to Scale, our 6-week business growth certification program for in-demand aesthetic and wellness founders ready to transform from overworked provider to empowered visionary CEO in any economy. Learn more and apply at klcconsultants.com/scale. Also link this up in the show notes for you. Okay, leader, thanks for tuning in today. If this was helpful, please screenshot and share so we can build our industry and support female leaders the right way together. I'll see you same place, same time next week. Listen, leader, if you're vibing with me here, hang tight because I have a brand new resource for you. You are a successful, confident, powerful woman who just isn't into being average. No, you have a calling. And part of that calling is requiring you to level up. And I know that if you're working across the next $1 million milestone in your business, you need to be in the right circles. And perhaps that's why you found us. I'd love to invite you to join The Blueprint, a weekly resource for inspired, provocative thinkers who are taking this conversation to the next level. Get access to free business tools, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me and my expert team. And of course, a masterfully curated circle of women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetics and wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to klcconsultants.com/blueprint. It's time to elevate. See you there, goddess.